When I was in secondary 3, my dad invited his broker to our house. He sat me and my brother down and said, you guys need to learn how to invest. And I was really excited. The broker was super confident, he was well-mannered, presented himself really well. He believed that he could make a lot of money from the stock market, and that confidence really pulled me in. Later on, I moved to Singapore and I studied there, so I couldn't continue. But then my dad kept learning from him. He trusted this broker like family. Even when the broker got sick, he would pay for his medical bills. And then fast forward 5 years, I had just finished my university at the time, and then I asked my dad, oh, gimana tuh sih Pak orang yang jago main saham itu, yang suka main ke rumah? And then my dad went silent. And then he scolded me for even mentioning his name. He was like, udah jangan ngomongin tuh orang lagi. Gila, nggak jelas tuh orang. Udah suka pakai kode-kode nggak jelas, bikin orang bingung, terus rugi. Ih, kacau orang. Nggak bisa tuh orang dipegang omongannya. Only later on, I found out that this broker, he worked with like a bandar to jack up the price, and then they get this fresh money as exit liquidity for like the bandar. So he framed it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you to participate in this IPO stock. And then my dad borrowed money from my mom and my brother. And of course, in the end, he lost a lot. That's why he refused to talk about him up till this very day. But that story teaches me something that is really, really important. These gurus, these brokers might look confident, they show off their returns, but essentially they are playing the same game. It's really not that different from the investment gurus that promises you fantastic returns, lavish lifestyle and everything that you see on YouTube. And I've seen this trap again and again and again. Even although 90% of my friends and my clients actually fall for it. And mind you, these are not careless people at all. These are high achievers who know what they're doing, and they still message me asking, should I buy this course from this investment guru? And that's when I realized that it's not really that they don't understand about the things that is being taught by these investment gurus, but they often overlook key points that they should consider before buying an expensive investment course from a guru in social media. And these are the points that almost nobody in the internet talks about, which I'm not sure why. It's just common sense. So let's go into point number 1 that you should consider before you buy an expensive investment guru course, which is their business model is to make money fast. These gurus know that the students don't stay long because the retention is usually very, very poor. It's like a leaky bucket. So you have students coming in and then you have a lot of students coming out. So each student that comes in, you need to make sure that it gives you the most revenue possible, because you know that you most likely won't be earning from these students anymore. And I know this because I've seen countless of my friends and my clients joining these classes only to find out that they don't renew their membership a year down the road after joining these investment guru classes. It's not because they can't follow the materials. The lesson materials are usually pretty straightforward. It's just that they don't have the time to apply the lessons that is being taught by these investment gurus. And you don't really need to pay 10 juta and your time a year to figure this out, because the whole thing is designed this way to make you pay a lot of money upfront and then they don't care about what happens to you next. But real products that solve problems, they want retention, because these retention gives repeated revenue and predictable revenue in the future that allows them to grow their business sustainably. But gurus, they don't usually build for that. They build for that fast money at the start. Now, the second point of consideration that you need to take before buying these investment courses from these gurus is that when you spend that 10 juta rupiah to buy the investment courses, it's not that you are just paying with your money, but also you're paying with your time. Checking companies, reading reports, making sure that the news are alright, applying the lessons of the investment gurus, all these things usually take up hours. They might seem easy when they show it on screen and everything, when they show the results. The thing is, it's not that you cannot do it. You can really do it, but you cannot focus on everything. If you focus on being good at everything, you don't become good at anything. Then there's point number 3 of the consideration that you need to take before buying investment lessons from these investment gurus, which is competition with other members. These groups are not friendly clubs that is singing kumbaya and everyone is friends and everything. Most likely, if you are paying a lot of money at the start, you will be promised to be gunning for high returns like 1000%, 50%, 60%, I don't know, whatever it is, super high returns that requires your focus and attention and discipline to follow the course of the guru and then apply the things that you need to do. But here's the catch. High returns are usually super duper competitive. Think about it, like the hedge funds in America is basically managing people's monies and gunning for these high returns. They are usually very, very competitive. So you kind of need to make sure that you can have the edge against these people to really gun for the returns that these investment gurus are promising. And unless you are super active, most probably you will lose out to the more active members. And if you are late, for example, in selling or buying, whatever, you might miss out on an opportunity, or like other people just dump on you, or other people move more quickly than you. And you have to note that the things that work on the long term is more collaborative in nature instead of competitive. And moving on to the last consideration, which is consideration number 4, before you should buy the investment lessons from these investment gurus, which is exit liquidity. It's the oldest trick, the ones that have existed in the market for as long as they. Sometimes, not all gurus do this by the way, but the bad ones, the bad actors, their real play is to make sure that the students would buy their stocks that they have purchased at a very low average price at a higher price, at a much higher price, so they can exit their position. And it's not just something that happens in the Indonesian stock market, this also happened in the US stock market. For example, the 2008 financial crisis, when people at Wall Street are super busy selling collateralized debt obligation that is really made up out of loans of homeowners that cannot pay their mortgages, and then they're just trying to sell it to unsuspecting buyers by giving them empty promises that these things will always go up. It's the bedrock of the American economy and you will be rich, blah blah blah. While they're actually just trying to escape their position, and they close position, they buy all the credit default swaps to save their banks from going under really. So it's the same concept that happens as well, unfortunately, that we have seen time and time again. If you go to the online forums and everything, you'd hear about this investment guru or that investment guru turn out to be, making their students exit liquidity for their investment activities. And you just have to know that their main goal is not your long-term portfolio growth, but their main goal is their returns as well as their image on the social media. They need to appear good, and then they need to have good returns as well. Now, that's all of the key considerations that I have for you today. It's really basic, isn't it? And before you get pulled into the dream of buying these lessons that offer you stupendous amount of returns, maybe you can forget all these points and just ask yourself these following questions. Number 1, is this guru just trying to grab quick money upfront? It's super expensive basically. And number 2, how much of my time will this really be taking away from me? Am I willing to sacrifice more hours of doing something else that I'd rather be doing to spend more time on studying these investment guru need to tell me? Number 3, if the potential returns that is told by the investment guru is super high, most likely it's also competitive. Then you can ask yourself, is this the game that I want to play? Is this what I'm good at, for example? It's almost like, oh, you're a footballer and then you can be an NBA player if you want. But the question is, do I want to be an NBA player while I'm already working my butts off to become a good football player? Maybe I want to be a Premier League player in the future, That simple. And the hardest question that you need to ask as well is, how do I know for sure that I'm not going to be in under exit liquidity? And this is exactly why we built Recompound with Budi. We work with busy professionals who really don't have the time to play these games. We focus on helping people invest logically for the long term with simple strategies that anyone can repeat. You don't really need us, by the way, to do what we are doing. But if you can do it yourself, just please do it yourself. But it will be effective in making sure that your investment portfolio have a good chance of growing for the long term. And I learned these lessons the hard way from my father. And honestly, I'm making this video just to see how many out there is still sane enough. And if that's you, let me know in the comments.